CRAVE was conceived as a way to deliver our strong educational mission and our membership's desire for their continued learning. Through the CRAVE series, our chapter will deliver webinars and virtual meetings to deliver timely and relevant topics that are affecting our industry today.
It's about the effort that we expend to connect with people. But you have an opportunity to see people, you have an opportunity to chat with people. We may not have an opportunity to have appetizers and share a drink with each other, but we stay connected, and that's really the most important thing.
Being able to work together and learn together in a new format, a new environment, really helped us take those pre-existing relationships and friendships that I had to another level.
Cornet has taken the leadership in these kinds of conversations for years and years, and so we're delighted to have this long-term relationship with Cornet.
I found the Cornet to be a great community of dedicated real estate professionals, and what it means to me is it gives me a wider network of people with whom to share ideas, to derive the best learnings, to test and experiment with things that I'm working on.
This program is all about personal growth and becoming the leader that you want to be.
Cornet has always led the way when it comes to supporting the professional development of our members. Our roundtable discussions, our education workshops, and our professional development programs are just part of what makes Cornet so valuable to our members. It was critical for us to find a way to still be able to facilitate all of this. CRAVE has provided us the platform to be just as effective and to still provide that value to our members in a virtual environment.
Cornet not only provides a platform for different groups to come together regardless where you come from in terms of organization, but really help each member to feel like they belong in this organization.
We have a diverse membership base, and you will find that members come from all walks of life and from all over the world. However, it's still an area of focus for us to improve upon and to embrace equity, inclusion, and diversity through increasing awareness and taking action, as we know this will lead to more success for the organization and for our members.
Good afternoon. I'll ask all our presenters today to go back on video. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks, Carolina. And welcome to all our participants today in our informational CRAVE event around the Crest Summer Internship Program in 2022. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Aurora Camerata. I work at Trapani Architects, and I also work with Corrine and Mark on the EID committee, among other different volunteer opportunities with Cornet. And I'm also happy to say that I work with Milton and Jason as well in connecting our chapter to the Crest Internship Program over the last couple of years. We have a lot of information to cover, so first I'll do some housekeeping regarding Cornet New England chapter. Next slide, please. So today, Mark and I are going to welcome you to our program. Then we'll have a presentation by Milton and Jason, who will talk about the Crest program in some detail. And then Lynn and Corrine will talk about their experience as an employer and as a student intern at National Grid last summer. We have the ability to answer some of your questions, and we hope to be concluded at 1 p.m. today. Next slide. If you have a question to ask at the end, please note that you can put that question in the chat box and we'll make sure that we cover it, cover any of the questions that you have subsequently. Next slide. Upcoming events for CoreNet, we have a Career Strategies program on December 9th. We have a Real Advantage workshop on December 10th, and we have our annual holiday party, which will be virtual and in person on December 14th. Next slide. Always, you can find CoreNet New England chapter on many social media outlets, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. See the QR codes to connect to those different platforms to engage with CoreNet more fully, shall we say. Next slide. We always like to thank our corporate partners, many of them noted here and also noted in our CRAVE video. We'll talk to corporate partners and about their ability to apply for a Crest scholarship offered by the New England chapter later in this program. Next slide. We'd also like to thank our platinum sponsors. Next slide. And also our many gold sponsors. Thank you all for your support of the CoreNet New England chapter. Next slide, please. Next, I'd like to introduce Mark Watkins, who's a member of the board of directors for the CoreNet New England chapter and also serves as a co-chair for the EID committee. Mark?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Aurora. CoreNet has shown that they are committed to EID. The Crest Internship Program is a perfect example of that, and it has become a critical part of our chapter's strategy as well as our committee strategy. So good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I am Mark Watkins, and as Aurora said, involved in our Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity Committee. We have about 25 members, and I wanted to share some examples of what we've been able to do over the past year for our members. But before doing so, on the Crest Internship Program, I cannot say enough. Some of you have heard me speak about the Crest Internship Program in the past. The relationship has continued to strengthen through the support of the board and our members, as well as the Crest team. It's not your typical internship program. It's much more than a internship program that you may be used to. They are providing and equipping the interns with a significant amount of tools to help them embark on their career. And I just cannot say enough about how strong the program is, and I think that you'll quickly see the value in the program. In terms of what we've been able to do as an EID committee within CoreNet, not only at CoreNet New England, but CoreNet Global. We have a Eid Certificate Program that I'm sure you've seen communication on, and maybe you even have received the certificate. We work with other chapters to drive events for more inclusion, diversity, and equity for our members. We've had about 10 programs in the last year, everything from our industry at a crossroads to the racial injustice and in crossroads with COVID, supplier diversity, neurodiversity, a program with the Boys and Girls Club. For some of you that attended the summit a few years ago in California, where Spike Lee spoke, he was interviewed by somebody named Dr. Dornita Mosby-Tyler. She's put on a program for us that was a partnership with the Connecticut and the Westchester chapter that we think will become more of a series and an ongoing program. And we're looking at doing more regional programs with other chapters. We are in discussions with doing a program, for example, on vets, on ageism, on bullying. So if you have any ideas or want to get involved, please certainly reach out. You can see here on the screen that we have published our D&I or EID policies. We take it seriously. We've collected demographics on our board of directors. We are developing goals to create more diversity, more inclusion, and more equity for our chapters. We joined the Greater Boston Corporate Real Estate DEI Collaborative. that has about 20 other industry organizations in Boston or around Boston. We actually sponsored a virtual education program in last June, and that helped to actually support the Crest Internship Program. So it's not only CoreNet that has partnered with Crest, many of our peers and other industry organizations have done the same. We have a page on our website that we've launched. With our Thermo Fisher's intern last year, we created a playbook for the EID committee, and there's just a lot of accomplishments that the members have been able to, drive forward within the committee. So I'm not going to read through our policy. I think it's pretty straightforward. But again, we're all ears. If you have any interest in joining the committee, we'd love to talk with you and look at ways that we can continue to enhance and make CoreNet New England a better and better chapter. So thank you again for joining us this afternoon.
Great, thanks, Mark. Next slide, please. CoreNet New England chapter and the Crest Internship Program has had a partnership for many years. We connect on a lot of different levels. First of all, we're very proud of the fact that Crest has designated us a champion sponsor of their organization. We also make a very deliberate effort to engage Crest, not only with our corporate partners by supporting a scholarship, but also other member companies of CoreNet New England chapter. Last year, we also piloted a mentorship program, which Karine will tell you a little bit more about later in the program. And our communications committee has also picked up the gauntlet and supported Crest in additional public relations, communications, and press in the media to get the word out about how great the program is and why our organization should support them going forward. One thing that I should also mention here that I neglected to put as a bullet, but that CoreNet New England chapter also provides student memberships to every Crest intern in the given year that we're participating. So if there are 25 interns, whether they participate with a CoreNet employer or not, we still provide them with a CoreNet student membership to encourage them to participate, to learn more about corporate real estate, and to become a member of our community. Next slide, please. So I'd like to now turn it over to Milton Benjamin and Jason Pugh, who will talk about the program in more detail.
Thank you, Aurora. This is Milton Benjamin, who leads the Crest program from our perch as Cage Growth Strategies, where we find diversity solutions and provide them to the commercial real estate industry. And one of those solutions is Crest. And I want to personally thank Mark and Aurora for an early discussion we had some 4 or 5 years ago in a little restaurant in the corner of a hotel somewhere, where we were just exploring what the possibilities might be. And I didn't know them and they didn't know me, but we looked in each other's eyes and checked the content and said, I think we can do this. Today, Crest appreciates one of the deepest and longest relationships it's had with a sort of trade association, and that trade association is CoreNet. So the membership has gone many years. I mean, the relationship has gone many years, and it's deepened with members of CoreNet. So thank you very much, Mark, and thank you, Aurora. And Karine, we're going to hear from you later because you're a key example of what success can look like, particularly as it relates to mentorship. This slide attempts to show you some of the beginning days of what is now Crest. We began as the CVP Career Academy when a real estate developer, Dick Galvin concluded that the industry was missing something vital. It was missing a pathway to students of color in the city of Boston who are likely to remain in the city if they had an opportunity. One of the gaps here is that while we had great student population, a number of students with 3.0 averages and up, there was little in the way of a framework for having them go through a real estate training program at the colleges and universities. And so we abandoned the idea of going to real estate clubs and special programs because the students you see in this picture weren't there. We instead went to the student populations at a number of schools that I'll speak about later to find them, introduce them to commercial real estate, provide internships for them, and have the employers then have the employers to meet them and they to meet the employers. We established relationships in the early days with 6 universities and colleges and focused on juniors, seniors, and graduate students. In the early days, we also had freshmen and sophomore. But you told us, the industry told us that they wanted to focus on more senior students in their more senior experience as juniors, seniors, and graduate students, and that's where we focus today. And we've placed roughly, through 2019, 60 students in various firms around the city. Next slide, please. For the year 2021, which was a sort of a virtual year, if you will, the second year where you had to select an option with regard to how you would both train and learn and experience at various firms. But these are the firms listed here that stood up. These firms took interns last summer and worked with them and worked with us. And in 2 ways. One, we help to connect the student body that we'll talk about later to the firms. Firms can interview students as well. And then we help to support the relationship between the student and the intern while they're working by providing them courses in public speaking and business writing and branding, so that we have a well-rounded intern experience with the help of these firms. You can see that there are some CoreNet members on this list, and so thank you for that. And we hope to expand the list this year. Indeed, we hope to get to be able to place 30 students in the 2021 class. Next slide, please. Here's a list of the colleges and universities many that we've relied on in the past. The early entrants, if you will, were Bentley, Boston College, Brandeis, Tufts, UMass Boston, and Wellesley. This year, we're proud to have added Connecticut College, NYU, and the Boston Architectural College. UMass Amherst is a return college and university too. Next, please. And so with this, I will transition to Jason Pugh, my colleague, who will talk to you about the students who are part of Crest.
Thank you so much, Milton. Again, my name is Jason Pugh, and I lead recruiting efforts for the Commercial Real Estate Success Training Program. Thank you so much, everyone at CoreNet, for having us here today. This slide is just a picture of the interns from last year's class, the 2021 cohort of the Commercial Real Estate Success Training Program. And as you can see, it's a fairly diverse class where we have many identities represented. There's also a number of academic backgrounds that are represented in this class as well. So we have economics majors, finance majors, management majors, and really students coming from a number of schools within the greater Boston area and the greater New York City area as well. And so students are coming from these 10 schools within that area. And we interview these students each year and really getting to know them, getting to know their background as it relates to academic success, but then also future potential success within the commercial real estate industry. And so our team really gets to know each of the interns during their interview and application process. And then we, of course, match them with firms where we could see them potentially excel throughout the summer. Here you can see we have 24 students highlighted, and each of these students participated in 40-hour-per-week internships at various commercial real estate firms. Now, prior to the pandemic, we had a 2-day intensive workshop where we were able to provide our academic program to all of our students throughout those 2 days, in which we were able to provide them both professional development skills, but then also skills in which that will help them as they continue on in their studies at school. And so thinking about the virtual education program this year, it will continue to be virtual. And we ask employers to generally allot 2 hours per week for the virtual education program. And throughout that program, each week, our participants are guided through virtual presentations and workshops led by professionals in the commercial real estate industry. And so students will really walk away with a stronger sense of industry acumen, and each of the Crest participants will matriculate with that more advanced understanding of professional brand development and then also communication skills as well. Next slide, please. So now we get to put some names to faces, and these are the names and placements for our 2021 cohort from last year. And all of these students fit our requirements of either being a junior, senior, or a graduate student. And Crest also really stresses academic excellence as well. And so we ensure that all of our students have at least a 3.0 grade point average as they apply for the Crest program. It's important for me to note here that Crest has recently shifted our recruiting efforts to start recruiting in the fall. We recognize that many employers are seeking students as early as the fall, and that students are trying to secure summer opportunities in the fall as well. And so we've actually began our recruiting process for the 2022 year, and we will continue to that search in January as well as we find more aspirants for the program. Next slide, please. I just want to take some time to highlight some of our past students. Here we have Nikhil Patel, who was an intern at AEW. Nikhil really benefited from the professional development workshops that we offer through Crest. And so Nikhil was able to work very closely with Denise Kegler in terms of his own personal brand development and really hone in on his resume. And that allowed him to land his current position at JLL as a research analyst. I'd also like to highlight Tristan Moore. And Tristan was an intern at Oxford Properties. What was really unique last year was that Marcus Partners, Oxford Properties, and Skanska all put together a capstone project for 4 of our interns. And that project addressed the vast array of critical project-based issues related to development projects in the seaport that all of the firms were bidding on together. And the intern teams met with both principals, commercial real estate, executives, and guest speakers each week to really learn about that space. And then they each presented before a panel of judges at the end of their 10 weeks. And they were judged on the economic portion of their presentation, diversity, equity, and inclusion awareness, sustainability, design, and presentation. And so this was really a unique opportunity for some of our interns to participate in some real world scenarios as it relates to the commercial real estate industry. Next slide, please. I'd also like to take some time to highlight Samar Samarani, who is an international student. Samar originally hails from Lebanon, and he was a student at Boston Architectural College. The folks at Tishman Speyer actually sought him out, and then that's how we were able to find and secure Samar for the summer. He also gained a lot out of the internship program itself. He was really able to both network with many of the professionals that we brought in each week. He also really excelled in our professional speaking course with Jack and Matt Rawson. I'd also like to highlight Carolyn Lamb. Carolyn is based in California. She attends Wellesley College and was spending her summer in California. And so she completed her internship at CVP Properties 100% virtually. And so this really emphasizes how students are able to both participate in the Crest program and even their internships at times in this virtual format. We do recognize that many employers are having students come back into their office spaces now, and we recognize the benefit of that. But this is also just highlighting that Carolyn was able to complete the entire 10 weeks in California and also complete her 40-hour per week internship each week, and then also attend the Crest virtual academic program. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I'd like to highlight 2 of our students who had the benefit of participating in our inaugural mentorship program. So these students are Claire Shea and Giselle Urena. And so Claire was an intern at AEW. Claire was really a student who benefited from the one-on-one mentorship through Cornet, but then also she was a student who took full advantage of many of our workshops as well in terms of honing her resume. And we're really happy to announce that she has 2 offers extended for her for this upcoming year. She still has to decide, and so we're really looking forward to see where she lands, but she will be within the commercial real estate industry, and so we're very happy to hear that. And then lastly, we have Giselle. who interned with Fidelity last year and had a wonderful experience. And so it's nice to see that she is also with another Coronet company now, Liberty Mutual Insurance, where she'll be entering as a software engineer this upcoming year. And Giselle also benefited from that public speaking course that we had with Jack and Matt Rawson. Initially, she was very nervous about her presentation skills, and she knew that that was a skill that she wanted to really work on and improve before the end of the summer. And we were so thankful that she was able to give closing remarks at our closing ceremony for Crest last year, where she did a wonderful job really explaining her time at her internship and also explaining the benefits of the Crest internship program as a whole. And so now I'd like to actually bring in one of our interns from last year, along with one of our employers, Corinne. This is going to be Lynn and Corinne from National Grid to talk about their experiences as both employers and interns through Crest. And then Corinne's going to take a little bit of time to expand upon the mentoring program.
Thank you, Jason. As Jason said, my name's Corinne Tamasang. I am a lead analyst with National Grid. I am also a member of the EID committee with Aurora and Mark. It's been a pleasure working with Jason and Milton in developing this pilot mentoring program. Lots of learning, and we're looking to strengthen that moving forward. The program came about as a way of augmenting what the students were getting through their Crest offering. We thought about the fact that, most of these students were virtual. They weren't getting the opportunity necessarily to fully engage with the Coronet New England members as they typically would if, all things considered, things were the way that they used to be. And so we wanted to provide them with an opportunity to meet and network with members of the Coronet community that they may not ordinarily see in their virtual offerings. And so we thought that a mentorship one-on-one opportunity would be a great way for them to not only just network, but also be able to ask questions, be able to leverage the additional support in helping them be successful in their real estate careers. And so we developed a pilot with seven interns, and most of them found it to be extremely helpful. I know the mentors absolutely loved having mentees. The feedback we received from a lot of the matches were very, very positive. And so it's something that we're looking to grow in the upcoming Crest cohorts. Hoping to do it, bigger and have more students participate. I also was involved with Crest as part of the National Grid team that Lynn reported to. Lynn was our intern last year. National Grid has also in the past hired former Crest interns. We had an employee who I think was a year after her Crest internship, we hired her. And she's since moved on to bigger and better things. And so we're very invested. National Grid is invested, and we're looking forward to having another intern again. And so we find tremendous value in Crest and just the professionalism that Lynn brought to our team and the amount of work that she was able to do really helped us move some things forward. And so it was a pleasure having Lynn, and just a testament to Crest and just the rigor with which the students are selected, and just how thoughtful the thought process that goes into it and professionalism. I just can't underscore just how professional some of these interns are. So with that, I will turn it to Lynn to talk about her experience as an intern.
Thank you, Corinne. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lynn Nguyen. I'm currently a graduate student major in business analytics at Bentley University, and I will join Insight Global as senior analyst upon my graduation in December this year. Being an international student from Vietnam and new to the commercial real estate, I attended the meeting, the presentation of Crest at my school, and like I feel excited, so I applied it for that, and then fortunately I've been accepted, and then matched with National CRAVE for the 10-week summer internship this in 2021. So what I like about the program is that I learned a lot, both professionally and personally via the Crest virtual academic program, and also like very well-structured 10-week internship at National CRAVE. Through the program, it's great that I can apply both the new skill that I learned for commercial real estate, and also my knowledge from school and previous working experience to contribute to the key project for my internship, that is helping the company to build the property portfolio database. I'm so thankful for the program that have give me a lot of opportunity to grow myself, especially during the program. I will pair with a mentor, Carolyn from Pala Consulting. She gave me a lot of insight and share her success story, so that I can got great tip to further advance my interest in commercial real estate. So I'm thankful to all that give me such opportunity till now. So with that, I'm over to Jason and Milton to discuss about how to become a Crest employer. Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn. Very well done, Corinne and Lynn. Thank you very much. Jason?
So there's a couple of things that we want you to keep in mind as you think about becoming a Crest employer. So first of all, we ask that you first think about the work that the intern will be completing throughout the summer, thinking about how to make this experience meaningful for that particular intern. And so thinking about some of those prerequisites as well in terms of the search for the student, it really helps Crest in terms of seeking students at various colleges and universities that fit the prerequisites for the position that you'll be offering at your individual firm. Additionally, thinking about the long-term nature of this internship, and if you would consider hiring that intern at the completion of their internship. And so we ask that all of our employers create job descriptions for each of the internships throughout the summer. And that helps Crest, again, identify those students, but also gives us a sense of really the tasks that the intern will be completing throughout the summer. Milton?
Jason, if I might, just one of the things I didn't highlight enough at the beginning was that the objective here, unlike when we were at the CVP Career Academy, the objective of Crest is to find students, introduce them to the commercial real estate space, have them exposed to some of the leadership and best world knowledge they can gather over the summer, and then prepare them and you as employers to see each other as career partners. That is our objective, is to create a pathway for the students to the employers and eventually to full-time positions. And I'm proud to say that at this count, we have about 47 students who have landed in commercial real estate. Others have gone to other places. They would have been successful perhaps without us, but I'm sure that having us as part of their resume didn't hurt. And indeed, I like the fact that there's a little competition between CoreNet members. As Jason pointed out, Giselle had an internship with Fidelity, and now she's landed at Liberty Mutual. So let the games begin. Let the students have the best opportunity to help you and your firms and to land somewhere successfully. Jason?
Right, and again, just to highlight those dates for the actual job description itself, if you could email that job description to myself, my email address is jpugh@crestinternship.com, no later than Friday, January 21st. That will really assist us in our search for an intern for the 2022 year. We hope to have all of our students placed by the middle of March. And so we will be in touch with firms as we both begin the process in terms of recruiting, but then also your onboarding process as a new Crest employer.
One of the things I might say about the logistics and deadline that Mark Ennerer pointed to earlier is that we all the interns are paid by you as employers, or paid by employers. And then the administrative fee that's charged speaks to the work Jason and others are putting in to find students. We've, to get to 30 students, we may have interviewed over 120 or so from various colleges and universities, providing support for their personal development during the summer, as well as bringing in specialists who can assist the students with their learning. And for some of you at Cornet, that there will be a discount. Aurora is nodding, so I know that this is a fact, that that Cornet is providing a subsidy, if you will, is picking up half the cost of the administrative fee for at least 4 students. Oh, there you are, Mark. I'm talking about you. And we are so very appreciative of that, as the students are as well. This helps to defray the cost of administering the program, and 4 of you will have an opportunity to participate in that way.
That's great. And I can provide some detail on the next slide. Is that okay, Jason? Are we complete on this slide? Excellent. You can refill that slide. So Milton mentioned that there is an opportunity for corporate partners of the Cornet New England chapter to apply for a scholarship that can subsidize that leadership program fee for the 2022 intern, should you be interested in hiring. Again, we want to reiterate that all Cornet member companies are eligible to participate in the program. We do have a limited number of scholarships provided by the board going forward for corporate partners. So we want to emphasize that as well. So for the corporate partners, it's really a 2-step process, because we'd like to identify the 4 firms that will be getting the scholarship. So you may have already, I hope you have already received an email, if you're a corporate partner, regarding how you might apply for the scholarship and then ultimately apply to be an employer for a Crest intern for 2022. This corporate partner application is available on our website, and also is available if you just send an email to Jill Blanco at the Berman Group, and she can also send that application for the scholarship to you directly if you can't find the email that we sent to you previously. So again, 4 corporate partners will be selected to receive $2,500 towards the internship leadership program fee. And selected corporate partners will then be connected to Jason, right, to continue with your onboarding and help you qualify your best and most appropriate intern for 2022. So for the corporate partners, it's a 2-step process. All other corporate partners, whether you receive a scholarship or not, and other Cornet member employees, member companies are encouraged to apply directly to Crest. And you can do that anytime between now and January 21st. And those applications are also available either through Jason or through Jill and our website, the Cornet chapter website. So there are many ways to connect with the Crest program, either through Jill and myself or Jason directly. And there's also the ability for member companies to apply through not only our website, but the Crest website as well. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So just to reiterate that corporate partners, if you need an application, you can reach out to Jill Blanco. Other Cornet member companies, if you're interested in applying for an internship, to contact Jason directly. If you have any questions, because we've confused you thoroughly about who should apply to whom and when, please reach out to me directly. And if perhaps you're not interested or can't apply to the program this year for an intern, we'd love to have you participate as a mentor for any of the Crest students going forward. And you can reach out to Corrine directly about that participation as well. So with that, unless I've left anything out, we'd like to have answer any questions that folks on the line have before we finish up at 1 o'clock. I'm going to check Carolina to see if we have questions. Can you help us out with that?
There is someone in the chat.
I can see one from Steve Elias.
Yes.
It's actually a very good question.
Yes.
How do interns get matched with participating companies?
We'll leave that up to Milton and Jason to answer.
Jason?
Right, and so there's a multi-step process in terms of matching students with particular firms. And so first, students apply to the Crest program, and their initial application consists of first a resume and a cover letter. Those students who we select for an interview then interview with the Crest team, and that's where we get to know a little bit more about their background and their potential for success within the industry. At that point, we also have our employers who are members of the Crest team as well. And so those employers represent these employers that we will be placing students at throughout the summer. And so we ask that you send individual job descriptions for the individual positions that you'll be holding at your firm. And with that job description, it really helps us in terms of the matching process for the students that apply to the Crest program itself. And so the students are matched based off of the prerequisites that individual firms identify on those particular job descriptions, but then also trying to make sure that students are going to have successful summers, and then the work that they're completing is meaningful for their own professional development.
And we're certainly open to having employers, potential employers, interview the students. We will have gone through, Jason, myself, and Sandra King would have we'll have interviewed a number of students. And as Jason's pointed out, we try to triangulate our interest, their interest, and interests of the employers that are expressed by the employers. And if the employers would prefer to interview the students that we've identified, that's part of the process too, and we can accommodate that.
I would also emphasize what both of you have said about a detailed job description for the intern, and that is part of the application process. So if you reach out, Steve, on the website or to Jason directly, that information will be made clear in terms of what they like to collect from you directly about the company and the internship and what they'll be all about.
And if I could just add to what Aurora just offered, when we're going through the interview, we can see the background and interests of someone like Lynn, and therefore know that what she has done and what she's very skilled at and capable of ties her to firms like AEW and others who are in asset management. Well, similarly, if someone has a more interest in construction management or economics and therefore or finance, our goal is to match the skill sets and interests with those expressed by the firms as their objectives. And the idea is obviously we want to create wins. We want to create winning relationships, and relationships that could lead to expanding the industry by bringing in a broader group of people who heretofore might not have known about it, but now can be committed to working in it.
Mark, can you talk maybe a little bit about how Thermo Fisher goes through qualifying their intern and your relationship with Crest and how that works?
Sure. I think, oops, you can hear me. I think that you made a very good point, right? What's the job description? As they are fielding potential interns and applicants, they need to be trying to marry up the interns with a company, and they need to understand, exactly what the firm's looking for, what the intern's looking for to create that win-win solution. I think of Crest as I don't know if they would agree, but it's sort of an extension of us, but a recruiting firm, right? Because they take that recruitment piece of the requirement on themselves and then introduce to us or the employer suitable candidates that they think will excel. And we have the opportunity to talk to them and ensure that there is a good match. That's the way that we approach it. Thermo Fisher has got, well over 1,000 interns a year. So like many of our other companies within CoreNet, we've got a rigid program, but they've given us flexibility to sort of manage this ourselves outside of the standard program. They still participate in the quote unquote Thermo Fisher internship program, but this one is a little bit unique because we're not using Thermo Fisher recruiters. And then there is another question from Danica Wu. If we are already approved as a Crest employer or have already had a Crest intern, assuming in the past, do we have to reapply each year? And the answer would be you certainly do. You need to make sure that the Crest team is well aware of your need. They'll be very happy to talk to you. And there should be communication going on anyway. But if you haven't heard from anybody, I certainly would reach out to Jason or Milton or Sandra.
Thank you for that, Mark. That's absolutely correct. Certainly past participation is helpful, and we always look for return votes, if you will, because that's an employer taking an intern is a vote for what we're doing. The objective, obviously, for us is to make sure we're matching correctly. So with those firms who are returning, if there's any change in the job description that's of interest to you, we encourage you to contact us and help us make that adjustment. We don't want to, I suspect Jason won't want to rely on past news, past, is not past is prologue, but he'll want to know what it is that you're looking to, what intern you're looking to have in terms of skill set and personal interests.
Okay, great. And we've got a question from Peter Schmanko. Can we get a copy of the slide deck? So that's a good sign. I think that we could certainly share that, or you don't have an issue.
Yes, we've recorded the session, and that includes the slide deck. So Peter, you can access that. And if you have trouble doing that, certainly reach out to Jill Blanco at the Berman Group, and she can help you do that. Does anybody have any questions about the application for corporate partners versus other employers to receive the scholarship? Then thinking that I was clear as mud.
You hit it perfectly, Aurora.
All right, good. We just like to emphasize that, and we hope we have more. We hope we have more corporate partners that are willing to apply than we have scholarship, of course. And we would encourage you to participate in the program regardless. But it's CoreNet New England Chapter's way of making a commitment to this program because we really believe in it, and we have employers that believe in it, and we want to be able to support other corporate partners as an added value opportunity to apply for the scholarship and participate in the program, especially if you haven't done that in the past. We really appreciate that. Corporate partner deadline is in advance of, Catherine, is in advance of the January 21st deadline for employees to apply to Jason and to Milton at the Crest program, because we'd like to get the corporate partners selected ahead of time and then also transitioned to Jason and Milton in advance of their deadline on January 21st. Good question, thank you, because we did have an advanced deadline for corporate partners to submit for the scholarship ahead of January 21st. So I'll restate that. If you're a corporate partner, your application to apply for the scholarship is due on January 14th, ahead of the final deadline to become a Crest employer on January 21st. See some other chats. Okay, trying to connect. I think we've got all the questions answered. Any other questions or anything else that folks want to emphasize going forward? Then we might be good and be able to give people a couple minutes back to their day. again, if anybody has any questions specific to their organization and to their CoreNet membership and Crest in general, please reach out. Jason, Milton, myself, Mark, Kareen, especially Kareen on the mentorship program, because we're looking for good folks and we're looking to expand that program. And we're happy to answer any questions that are specific to your situation, and happy to do that or provide you other information about the program. If that's it,
well,
I'd like to thank,
on behalf of Crest, I want to again thank you and thank Mark and thank Kareen and all the others who have been so helpful in creating pathways for our interns in your universe of companies. And the support you've provided is deep, and there will be a number. What we can't see now is just the long game, but many of the students who have been able to go through it and get the mentorship that Kareen and others have provided to students like Lynn and Giselle and the others that Jason has listed, is going to manifest in a few years with not only people who are parts of members of your companies, but indeed, I believe there'll be leaders in your companies. So on behalf of Crest, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
That's excellent. And on that note, again, thank you, Milton and Jason, for participating, Corinne as well, Lynn as well. Lynn, good luck in your future endeavors. We're so glad to have you be part of the program and to talk about your experience today. It's really appreciated. And always, my friend Mark, thank you so very much. And to Carolina for running our program today. Thank you everybody for attending, and we hope you participate in the program going forward. Have a happy holiday.
You too. Thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.